Ah, the never-ending stacks of paper. Bills, receipts, medical documents, tax records, and even old greeting cards. They seem to accumulate faster than we realize. Many seniors I've spoken to admit that they've held on to decades of paperwork just in case. But over time, these papers turn into overwhelming clutter, filling drawers, desks, and countertops until they become difficult to manage. Instead of allowing outdated paperwork to pile up, you can implement a simple filing system with clearly labeled folders. Divide documents into essential and non-essential categories. Keep only what you truly need, such as legal documents, wills, deeds, power of attorney papers, insurance policies, health, home, auto, recent medical records, anything within the past few years. For everything else, consider digitizing important records by scanning them onto a USB drive or cloud storage. This reduces paper clutter while still keeping information accessible when needed. One gentleman I knew, Harold, found a creative way to turn decluttering into a pleasant habit. He made a weekly ritual of shredding unnecessary papers while listening to his favorite jazz records. Instead of feeling like a tedious chore, it became a relaxing and productive routine. To prevent future paperwork buildup, consider setting up a mail management system near your entryway. A small basket or tray can hold incoming mail until you're ready to sort through it. Develop a habit of addressing mail immediately. Discard junk, file important letters, and only keep what's necessary. For those struggling to let go of certain papers, ask yourself, is this something I need for tax or legal purposes? Will I ever realistically look at this again? Is there a digital version available? By eliminating outdated and unnecessary paperwork, you'll create a cleaner, more organized space and reduce the mental burden of excessive clutter. The kitchen often becomes a clutter hotspot, especially for those who have spent years collecting cookware, utensils, and gadgets. You may have found yourself holding on to items just in case. But in reality, many of them go unused. For example, take a look at your kitchen drawers and cabinets. Do you have 3 or more potato peelers? A stack of chipped mugs you never reach for? A bread machine that's been gathering dust for years? If so, it may be time to pare down. A friend of mine, Margaret, recently went through this process. She realized she only used her favorite ceramic mugs and decided to donate the rest to a local charity. Similarly, she found that she relied on just 2 or 3 quality pans, while the other 10 lurking in her cupboard never saw the light of day. Ask yourself which items you actually use daily. Donate or give away duplicates and unused appliances. Keep only what brings you joy and makes your kitchen more functional. Organizing your kitchen isn't just about decluttering, it's about making the space work better for you. Consider arranging your items based on how often you use them. Everyday essentials, plates, utensils, favorite pans, should be within easy reach. Rarely used appliances, holiday serving dishes, slow cookers, or turkey roasters can be stored in less accessible cabinets. Another great tip? Use drawer organizers and shelf dividers to make the best use of your space. When everything has its place, your kitchen feels more open, functional, and enjoyable to cook in. By simplifying your kitchen tools and keeping only what you use regularly, you'll transform your space into a more practical, clutter-free environment. Heirlooms can be a tricky subject. Many of us inherit furniture, decorative pieces, or sentimental items from parents or grandparents and feel obligated to keep them, even when they don't match our current style or living space. Perhaps you have a large, ornate china cabinet that takes up half your dining room, a floral-patterned love seat from Aunt Gladys that no longer fits your decor, a collection of figurines that have spent years collecting dust. While these items may hold sentimental value, they can also contribute to clutter and make your home feel cramped. The key is reframing your relationship with these possessions. It's okay to let go of objects without letting go of the memories. One woman shared how she photographed her grandmother's rocking chair before gifting it to her niece, who had the space to appreciate and use it. This way, she preserved the memory without keeping the physical item. If you're struggling with letting go of inherited pieces, consider these options. Repurpose them. Turn old vintage linens into throw pillows or a quilt so they remain part of your home in a functional way. Pass them along to a family member who will truly use and cherish them. Sell or donate them. to someone who will appreciate them more than you currently do. Ask yourself, do I truly love this piece, or am I keeping it out of guilt? Does it enhance my home? Or is it just taking up space? Would someone else find more joy in it than I currently do? Decluttering inherited furniture and decor doesn't mean forgetting your loved ones. Instead, it frees up space for what truly matters while ensuring that meaningful items find new life with someone who will appreciate them. Books are treasures, but even the most devoted readers can admit to holding on to titles they'll never revisit. Overloaded bookshelves, rather than creating a cozy atmosphere, can make a room feel cluttered and chaotic. The key is to curate your collection. Keep only the books that truly resonate with you and let go of the rest. Donating books to libraries, schools, or book swaps allows them to be appreciated by new readers rather than gathering dust on your shelves. A retired teacher I know, Anne, turned her decluttering project into an act of giving. She carefully selected books from her vast history collection and donated them to a local school library. Knowing her books would continue to educate and inspire young minds made parting with them much easier. Now, Anne's bookshelves hold only her favorite reads, beautifully arranged alongside cherished photos, decorative items, and a few small plants. By limiting the number of books on display, she transformed her space into a more inviting, peaceful retreat. For those struggling with cluttered bookshelves, consider incorporating decorative storage baskets on lower shelves to hold miscellaneous items. This simple trick keeps the area functional and stylish, preventing shelves from feeling overcrowded while maintaining easy access to books and essentials. Personal style evolves over time, and so do our tastes in decor. What once felt meaningful or trendy may now seem outdated or uninspiring. What a collection of figurines you once adored might now feel like nothing more than dust collectors. Or perhaps the artwork on your walls no longer sparks joy. If your decor no longer reflects your personality, it might be time for a refresh. Look at each item with fresh eyes and ask yourself, does this piece still make me smile? Does it complement my current aesthetic? Would I prefer something else in its place? If an item no longer brings joy, consider replacing it with something more meaningful. Framed family photos, travel souvenirs, or a vibrant painting that speaks to your soul can make your home feel more personal and inviting. I once met a couple who completely revitalized their living room by making a few simple changes. They removed heavy drapes that darkened the space and swapped out dated paintings for a stunning tapestry they had fallen in love with during their travels. The transformation was immediate. The room felt lighter, brighter, and more in tune with their personalities. To avoid visual clutter, consider using minimalist shelving or display cases for decor that you truly love. These subtle adjustments allow your favorite pieces to shine, creating a space that reflects who you are right now rather than who you were years ago. Closets are notorious for harboring hidden clutter, from clothes that haven't been worn in years to forgotten accessories buried in the back of drawers. Holding on to outdated styles, ill-fitting outfits, or shoes that never leave the shelf takes up valuable space and makes it harder to find what you actually wear. A simple yet effective rule to follow is the 1-year rule. If you haven't worn it in the past year, it's probably time to donate, sell, or discard it. Closet decluttering doesn't have to be a tedious task. It can be fun and rewarding. My neighbor Joan found a creative way to turn the process into a social event. She hosted a clothing swap with friends, allowing everyone to refresh their wardrobes while giving their unworn items a second life. Seeing someone else find joy in her pieces made letting go much easier. For sentimental clothing like a wedding dress, an old varsity jacket, or a beloved sweater from years past, consider finding new ways to preserve these cherished items. Professional preservation services can help protect delicate fabrics for the long term. Repurposing sentimental fabrics into throw pillows, quilts, or framed textile art allows you to keep the memory alive without taking up closet space. By paring down your wardrobe to only what you love and wear, your closet will feel more spacious, organized, and functional. No more digging through unworn clothes. Just a streamlined selection of outfits that make you feel great. It's easy to accumulate sentimental items. Your child's old school projects, trophies from past achievements, or mugs collected from vacations. These keepsakes hold cherished memories, but can quickly take over valuable space if not managed thoughtfully. Rather than keeping everything, consider creative ways to honor these items without allowing them to overwhelm your home. Digitize old photos and letters. Scan them and create a digital archive that can be easily accessed and shared with family. Curate a memory box. A small, beautifully designed container for the most meaningful keepsakes. Keeping your favorites while minimizing clutter. One grandfather I know transformed his sentimental collection into a memory wall with a rotating selection of framed mementos. By changing out the display every few months, he could enjoy his treasures without filling his space with too many objects. Another modern alternative is to create digital slideshows that can be displayed on a digital photo frame. This allows you to relive special moments without stacks of albums or cluttered shelves. Letting go of excessive sentimental items doesn't mean losing the memories. It simply means finding practical and meaningful ways to preserve them while maintaining a clutter-free environment. Furniture often stays in a home simply because it has always been there. However, over time, excess furniture can make a space feel cramped and difficult to navigate, particularly if mobility becomes a concern. To create a more open, functional living space, consider evaluating each piece based on utility. Is this piece of furniture serving a daily purpose? Comfort. Does it still provide the support and ease of use you need? Space efficiency. Would removing or replacing it make your home easier to move around in? A senior couple I once met downsized their bulky sectional sofa, replacing it with a sleek loveseat and a recliner. This simple change opened up their living room, allowing for better movement and creating a more inviting, breathable space. Another great option is multi-purpose furniture that maximizes functionality without adding clutter. Ottomans with hidden storage. Perfect for stashing blankets or magazines while doubling as extra seating. Drop-leaf tables. Expand when needed and fold away when not in use. Compact, lightweight chairs. Easy to move around and store if necessary. By rethinking your furniture arrangement, you can increase comfort, safety, and functionality while maintaining a home that feels spacious and welcoming. Basements, attics, and garages often become dumping grounds for forgotten or unused items. Out of sight, out of mind. However, these spaces shouldn't be left unchecked. Over time, they can accumulate broken appliances, outdated decorations, or stacks of old boxes that serve no real purpose. To regain control over these storage areas, tackle them one step at a time. Break it into small tasks. Dedicate a few hours to sorting through one box or one shelf at a time. Create categories. Separate items into keep, donate, recycle, or discard piles. Enlist help. If sorting through years of accumulated belongings feels overwhelming, ask family or friends for assistance. One widower, Tom, shared his experience of decluttering his garage with the help of his children. As they sorted through old belongings, they rediscovered a forgotten toolbox that once belonged to his father. Instead of letting it sit unused, they restored it into a meaningful family keepsake. To keep storage areas organized long-term, consider using clear plastic bins with labels. Easier to identify contents than opaque cardboard boxes. Shelving units. To keep frequently used items accessible. A yearly review system. Dedicate one day each year to revisiting stored items and removing anything no longer needed. By keeping these spaces organized and clutter-free, you can ensure they remain functional, safe, and easy to navigate whenever you need them. Sometimes, clutter isn't just about excess belongings. It's about deferred maintenance. Broken appliances, tangled cords, and neglected corners can contribute to a sense of disarray and make a home feel less functional. Rather than tackling everything at once, focus on one maintenance task at a time. Fix what you can. Leaky faucets, loose cabinet handles, or squeaky doors. Recycle old or broken electronics that are no longer in use. Use simple organizers to hide cords and keep wires neatly tucked away. A retired engineer I once knew set a goal to complete one repair project every weekend. Over time, his home became more organized and functional, and the process gave him a renewed sense of accomplishment. To make maintenance less overwhelming, consider creating a seasonal checklist. Spread tasks out over the year instead of doing them all at once. Setting reminders for regular home inspections. Checking smoke detectors, air filters, or plumbing can prevent bigger problems down the road. Asking for help when needed. Whether from a professional or a family member, some tasks are easier when shared. By staying on top of maintenance, you ensure your home remains a safe, comfortable, and enjoyable space to live in. Bathrooms often accumulate expired medications, half-used beauty products, and toiletries bought in bulk. Over time, these cluttered shelves and drawers can become chaotic. Not to mention, some expired items pose safety risks. To keep your bathroom organized and functional, sort through your medicine cabinet regularly. Check for expired prescriptions and over-the-counter medications and discard them safely. Many pharmacies offer medication disposal services. Consolidate toiletries. Store shampoos, lotions, and creams in smaller, labeled containers to reduce bulk. Use drawer dividers or clear bins. Keeping similar items together makes it easier to find what you need. A friend of mine, Lily, recently reorganized her bathroom using clear storage bins and labeled sections for medications, skincare, and toiletries. The result? Her countertops are now clutter-free, and she describes her bathroom as feeling more like a spa than a storage closet. Keeping only what you use regularly creates a cleaner, more peaceful environment while making everyday essentials more accessible. From flip phones of the early 2000s to random mystery cables, outdated technology often ends up stuffed in drawers and closets, taking up valuable space. Instead of letting them collect dust, recycle old electronics responsibly. Many communities have designated e-waste drop-off locations for proper disposal. Keep only the chargers and cords you use regularly and label them to avoid confusion. Use a small container or box to store necessary accessories in one easily accessible place. One retiree, Paul, came up with a brilliant solution. He repurposed a decorative box into a tech station where he stored only his essential gadgets, chargers, and adapters. This small change freed up valuable drawer space and eliminated the daily frustration of dealing with tangled cords. A little organization goes a long way in keeping technology clutter manageable and stress-free. Hobbies bring joy, but the supplies that come with them can quickly pile up and become disorganized. Whether it's knitting, painting, woodworking, or sewing, scattered materials can turn a relaxing activity into a frustrating mess. To keep hobby supplies neat and accessible, dedicate a specific storage space. Use bins, shelving units, or rolling carts to keep everything in one place. Label containers, separate brushes, yarns, fabrics, or tools into clearly marked sections. Utilize vertical storage. Pegboards, wall-mounted racks, or stackable drawers can maximize space without cluttering work surfaces. One creative senior, Nancy, repurposed an old dresser into a craft station, with each drawer dedicated to a different material. With everything organized and within reach, she found her projects far more enjoyable, and her home felt tidier and more inspiring. When supplies are well organized, hobbies become easier and more enjoyable, allowing you to focus on creativity rather than clutter. It's wonderful to showcase family photos, souvenirs, and treasured mementos, but too many displayed at once can overwhelm the space and reduce their emotional impact. When every surface is covered with sentimental items, it becomes harder to appreciate each one individually. Instead, consider rotating your displays throughout the year. Highlight a few cherished pieces at a time, storing the rest safely until it's their turn to be showcased. Seasonal rotations keep things fresh without adding clutter. A curated display allows each item to stand out and preserves the sense of meaning behind them. My neighbor, David, found a clever way to manage his travel souvenirs. Rather than displaying everything at once, he rotates his collection every few months. His living room always feels new and interesting while still maintaining a clean and uncluttered aesthetic. If you have a large collection of photos, consider creating a digital album or using a rotating digital photo frame to preserve the memories without overwhelming your space. A well-organized and thoughtfully arranged display enhances your home's atmosphere, making it feel both personal and tidy. Clutter doesn't always come in the form of objects. It can also be unfinished projects that were started with enthusiasm but never completed. Maybe it's a half-painted room, a knitting project left in a basket, or an old puzzle collecting dust. These abandoned tasks take up space, both physically and mentally. creating a sense of unfinished business in your home. Take an honest look at each project and ask yourself, is this worth finishing? If yes, set a realistic deadline and schedule time to work on it. Does this project no longer interest me? If not, it may be time to let it go. One retiree, Linda, had a quilt she had been working on for years but never completed. Feeling guilty about it, she joined a local sewing group, which gave her the motivation to finish it within a few months. Not only did she complete her project, but she also found a new sense of community in the process. For projects that no longer bring you joy, consider donating materials to a local school, craft group, or charity, recycling or responsibly disposing of items that can't be repurposed. Decluttering unfinished projects frees up both your space and your mental energy, allowing you to focus on hobbies and activities that truly excite you. Most of us hold on to items because we think we might need them one day. Empty jars, stacks of old magazines, extra cords, and random household items pile up under the idea that they could come in handy someday. While it's good to be prepared, saving too much just in case can lead to clutter that rarely, if ever, gets used. Ask yourself, have I used this in the last year? If not, it's time to let it go. Do I have a specific plan for this item? If not, it's likely just taking up space. A retired handyman I know, George, had a garage full of scrap wood, believing he might use it for future projects. But after years of collecting dust, he realized he had only used a small portion of what he had saved. He decided to donate the wood to a local community workshop, where others could put it to good use. Not only did this free up valuable space, but it also helped others who needed the materials. To prevent just-in-case clutter from building up again, set limits. Designate a single bin or shelf for miscellaneous items, and once it's full, re-evaluate what truly needs to stay. Use a simple rule. If you haven't needed it in a year, it's probably safe to let it go. Repurpose or donate. Items that could be useful to someone else can find a second life rather than sitting unused in storage. By letting go of unnecessary items, you create a more functional and spacious home, making room for what truly matters in your daily life. Over time, it's easy to accumulate outdoor gear. Old lawn chairs, broken gardening tools, or sports equipment that no longer sees any use. These items tend to pile up in sheds, garages, and patios, creating unnecessary clutter and making outdoor spaces feel cramped and disorganized. To prevent this, assess your outdoor equipment seasonally. If something hasn't been used in the past 2 years, it may be time to donate, sell, or recycle it. Donate functional items to local community centers or shelters. Recycle broken or damaged items to free up space. Sell valuable but unused equipment to someone who will actually use it. A retired couple I know, Bob and Sally, took a creative approach to decluttering their outdoor gear. They organized a neighborhood yard swap where people could exchange outdoor tools, furniture, and recreational equipment with one another. Not only did they clear out their unused items, but they also built a stronger sense of community in the process. For the outdoor gear you choose to keep, invest in weatherproof storage bins or a small shed to keep everything neatly organized and protected from the elements. Hanging tools on hooks, stacking chairs efficiently, and grouping similar items together can make your outdoor storage far more manageable. Almost every home has at least one junk drawer, a catch-all space filled with rubber bands, old keys, expired coupons, batteries, and other miscellaneous items. While a junk drawer can be useful for quick access to small necessities, an overflowing one can contribute to a general feeling of disorganization. To regain control over this space, dump out the contents and sort everything into categories. Discard anything expired, broken, or unnecessary, like dead batteries or outdated loyalty cards. Relocate misplaced items to their proper storage areas. Use small dividers or trays to keep the remaining contents neatly arranged. A retired teacher I met, Carol, transformed her junk drawer into something practical. Instead of allowing clutter to accumulate, she labeled small sections of the drawer for specific items like tools, stationery, and spare change. Now, instead of feeling like a messy dumping ground, her drawer functions as a mini utility station, organized, accessible, and efficient. Having an organized junk drawer eliminates the frustration of digging through clutter when you need something quickly, making daily life just a little bit easier. Holiday decorations bring warmth and joy, but holding on to every ornament, wreath, and strand of lights from decades past can create storage headaches. Over time, older decorations become worn out, outdated, or no longer fit your style. Instead of keeping everything out of habit, take some time to curate your collection. Keep the decorations that bring you true joy or hold deep sentimental value. Donate unused but still beautiful pieces to local charities, thrift stores, or community centers. Discard broken or damaged decorations responsibly to avoid unnecessary clutter. One senior I spoke to, Helen, downsized her holiday decorations in a way that felt meaningful. She gifted special ornaments to her grandchildren, ensuring they remained within the family while freeing up space in her own home. Now she enjoys decorating with a select few cherished items, making the holiday season just as festive, without the overwhelming storage demands. To keep holiday decorations organized and easy to access, store them in labeled, stackable bins. Clear bins make it easy to see what's inside, while dividers can keep delicate ornaments safe. With an efficient storage system, decorating for the holidays becomes a joyful experience rather than a frustrating chore. Clearing out clutter doesn't mean letting go of cherished memories. It means creating a space that reflects who you are today. Start small. Focus on one area at a time. Be intentional. Keep only what truly adds value to your life. Celebrate your progress. Each small step makes a difference. Your home should be your sanctuary, a space that feels peaceful, comfortable, and truly yours. Cluttering isn't about perfection. It's about creating an environment where you feel your best. What's your first step? Pick an area that's been bothering you and start today. You've got this. 1. There comes a time when solitude feels more like freedom. There comes a moment in life when solitude stops feeling like loneliness and starts feeling like freedom. As you get older, you may notice that living alone brings more joy, peace, and contentment than the hustle and bustle of a shared household. Maybe you've been questioning whether it's time to embark on this path, wondering if a home of your own, free from the noise and demands of others, is the right choice for you. From countless stories shared online, it's clear that many older adults are drawn to the idea of living alone, seeing it not as isolation, but as an opportunity to fully embrace their own space. If you've been contemplating it, these signs may help you recognize that it's the right time to embrace the beauty of solo living. 2. You value peace and quiet more than ever. One of the most common reasons older adults choose to live alone is that they crave peace. As the years pass, the constant movement, noise, and energy of others can start to feel overwhelming. While you may have spent decades raising children, managing a household, and being surrounded by family, there comes a point when you long for tranquility more than anything else. Margaret, a woman in her early 60s, shared her experience on a forum. I love my grandchildren, but the constant noise and energy in the house were draining me. When they left, I was relieved to have my space back. That's when I knew I needed to live alone permanently. That moment of relief, when the house is quiet again, can be a clear sign that living alone might be the best path forward. Perhaps you find yourself deeply appreciating moments of stillness, savoring the silence of early mornings with a cup of coffee, or feeling a sense of calm when the house is empty. If you're noticing these feelings more and more, it may be time to consider a space where peace is the priority. Living alone allows you to cultivate an environment filled with calm, free from distractions and interruptions, a space that truly nurtures your spirit. 3. You enjoy your own company. As you grow older, you may find that your own company is more than enough. Perhaps you've developed hobbies that bring you joy, or you've come to appreciate the simple pleasure of quiet evenings spent reflecting on your day. Maybe you've discovered a love for painting or woodworking. Perhaps you get lost in books for hours, enjoying the freedom to read without interruption. Or maybe you've found peace in simply sitting by the window, watching the world go by. This is a powerful sign that living alone could suit you perfectly. A 70-year-old man once shared on a forum how he found unexpected fulfillment in his daily gardening routine. When I'm out in my garden, it's just me and the earth. I don't need anyone to talk to. I find peace in the quiet rhythm of my day. It was during one of those peaceful mornings that I realized I don't need a roommate or a family around constantly to feel fulfilled. That realization, that solitude is not loneliness but a gift, can be incredibly empowering. Learning to appreciate your own company is one of the greatest forms of self-fulfillment. It